Hey, everybody. John and Lauren here. I'm going to ask you to put on your thinking caps, put the slogans away for a second. Think about your responsibility as citizens in this republic and the history of civil disobedience, which I'm supportive of. And I think we all are. We all get to say what we want to say. We're free people. But what we had in Ferguson was basically, in my view, the rule of the mob, which is why I wrote that column today about the Oxbow incident, which tells us, as a novel and a movie, to not give in to those passions. And now we have New York, Lauren Cohn, in which Eric Gardner, a very large, and the similarities are striking, a large African-American man selling Lucy's cigarettes on the street, was told to stop it. Police confronted him. They put him in a chokehold. He died. He's a huge man, 350 pounds, and there's a video of it. So now the grand jury is we're expecting some sort of either indictment or not probable cause, just like we went through New York. Al Sharpton, remember liberals used to be, they were once, as representative in the Oxbow incident, telling us to restrain our passions. Now Obama has installed Reverend Sharpton as the high priest who will define the terms. All this is happening. What do you think?
You know, I would think that people would have learned the lesson from Ferguson, and you'd have community activists along with law enforcement out there prepared for any reaction that comes down from this. But my fear is that when you have people like Al Sharpton involved who care only about themselves, and I've covered Al Sharpton since, the 80s when I first got into news in New York. Tawana Brawley, and lying down on the subway, tracks of New York and staging protests. This is a man who loves the spotlight, and it's about Al Sharpton. It's not about the cause. It's not about the people. It's not about getting to the root of, racial discrepancies and things like that. And what I fear is that however this goes could turn out to be what we call peaceful protests and not burning buildings, could be transformed because of people like Al Sharpton. What's
really upsetting is that, and those are all great points, is that Al Sharpton's never apologized.
No.
And Obama puts him in the White House
and
embraces him. That's basically telling us that's okay. And I remember in the column today in the paper, Tribune, I remember this movie in which Henry Fonda, liberal icon that he was, talked about what happens when people act like a mob and how people basically take the law into their own hands and destroy each other and destroy our country.
Man just naturally can't take the law into his own hands and hang people without hurting everybody in the world, because then he's just not breaking one law, but all laws. There can't be any such thing as civilization unless people have a conscience, because if people touch God anywhere, where is it except through their conscience?
Well, where did they touch that Bosnian, Mr. Bezic, in St. Louis, where he was beaten to death by hammers, and the police came up in St. Louis and said, this wasn't a hate crime because they didn't attack him because he was Bosnian? And I'm thinking, as a newsman, I'm shrugging, right? And I'm thinking, oh, God, here we go again. What did you think?
Well, I think that attack is a little bit different, but are you asking why there was an outrage over that community?
No, there is outrage. What I'm asking is we are devolving, and I want us to just stop. When we give into our passions, it's good to have passion, right? Talk show, column, say what you want.
Right.
But when we give into those passions as a mob, sometimes politicians like Sharpton take the advantage, and people get hurt as a result.
But see, that's the problem with these radicals out there, whether they're African-American or they're white. I mean, in this case, we had plenty of whites who were just burning buildings and running around. They just find any cause to do it. And it has nothing to do with what they believe about one situation or another. The minute there's controversy and they can get riled up, they think that, this is my chance to go.
What if Bill Clinton hugged David Duke? Right? David Duke's a Klansman. He's a racist. What if he hugged David Duke? Isn't that what Obama's doing by hugging Al Sharpton? Isn't it basically a similar thing? All I remember is that Orthodox Jewish kid that got stabbed on the streets, Crown Heights, remember? Mm-hmm. Never forget it. Never heard anything from Sharpton about it.
Well, and then what's so sad is that the president has a distinctive message, and then it's clouded by the fact that he brings Sharpton into it. It just makes no sense. But sometimes our president makes no sense. All right, we'll take some calls on this here at 312-591-8900. Hey, Jim, what's your opinion on this? Welcome to the show.
Well, you guys, the same thing's going to happen either way. These are Occupy Wall Street people that are out there. These are the president's foot soldiers. He used them last year to set up all this inner city rioting before. He's done this before, and this is how he gets relevant again. This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. The man is the president of the United States. He's supposed to be bringing people together. You were supposed to stand there, not split the country down the middle, and he's splitting us on purpose. This is the only way he can stay relevant, and he can get the Democratic Party to be relevant.
Thanks, Jim.
And that is to say that they hate people.
Thanks, Jim. You know, my hometown of New York City has certainly seen enough of this kind of stuff, and it could go either way.
No, we're not saying, and I know Lauren's not saying, and I'm not saying that we should ignore police force, use of force.
Right.
That hurt, kill people. People have to be accountable. Police too. But what we're saying is, what I'm saying, when you create mob rule and drop restraint, that's what we were taught as children, as the civil rights movement was going, and we had all those movies I talked about, to restrain our passions, to let the rule of law proceed, to talk about the system. And now it's all about emotion. I don't like the immigration law. I'm going to change it because I'm president. My politics will change it. I don't like this. I'm Al Sharpton. I'll scream. And what happens is people get upset and nervous and frantic. It's like Bosnia, Serbia, and Croatia. And somebody gets killed with hammers as a result. That's how it works.
All right, coming up, wait until you hear what Rahm Emanuel had to say in defense of raising the minimum wage.
Bruce Wolf and Dan Proft. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on Chicago's Talk Leader, 89 WLS.
All right, we're back talking about waiting for the grand jury in New York City to make a decision on this case with 43-year-old Eric Gardner in a chokehold by police who died. Waiting to see what happens there and how, depending on what happens with the grand jury, will New York City react and be another Ferguson?
That's the thing that we're concerned about. But also, remember, he was selling it started when he was selling Lucy's, right? Cigarettes on the street. Okay, so are you kidding me? A guy can't sell a couple cigarettes that are loose on the street without having a cop get in his way and saying, don't do it. I mean, that's the kind of thing when the nanny state gets so involved in your life. Just let them sell the damn cigarettes and you don't have a problem.
Hey, Brian, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Hey.
I only see one winner in all these violent protests, and that's the gangs. They basically got a policeman fired. They're going to make it harder for policemen around the country to arrest somebody because of racial tensions. And these aren't the people that are in these violent protests are not my friends. They're not my coworkers. They're not my neighbors. These are people that were coming in from Chicago and LA to Ferguson and actually pushing the rioting and the violence. And who wins? The gangs. That's what I see anyways.
It's an interesting point, Brian. Thanks. Brings up a good point. Sharpton's just assisting them,
Well, Sharpton's for Sharpton. Obama's for Obama. I don't want to say Cass is for Cass, but yes, I look out for my interests too. We all do, right? We're all looking out for.
Yeah, but I actually disagree with you. Wait a minute there. I do think the president does care about these issues, and I do think he's doing the right thing by having dialogue, and I do think that exploring the idea if cameras on,
those are
on
all
cops.
Good.
But then he clouded it by having Al Sharpton there. So I do think he cares. I just think that he having Al Sharpton there just clouds his whole message of what he's trying to do.
Well, that's in the context of he's really a good president, but he's just made a mistake. I think that he's by putting the high priest of Crown Heights up there with him on the podium in the White House, he's telling everybody, he's given two messages. One is, for some of you, I'm for law and order, and for others of you, I'm really with you, and that's really wrong.
Well, and I don't think
That's
he's
my
a good
view.
president. I think he's been a weak president. But I don't think he doesn't care about this issue. I think he does. I just think he started out on
Was it
one
Al
right
Sharpton?
channel, and then Al Sharpton just needs
By the
to
way,
go.
I know we got calls, but Lauren, I on Facebook I posted an old picture of Al Sharpton for the Moods of the
please.
Month. You know, I used to like him I like him better when he was fat in those like orange sweatsuits with a lot of
all
gold
the
chains.
chains?
Yeah. And the
Big
hair
hair?
and everything. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now he's just skinny
Now he's skinny. He's kind of like
with his
kinda
own
pretty.
show on MSNBC, right? Mm-hmm. He's got
He's
his own
a showman.
show. He is a showman. Hey, Larry, good morning. What do you have to bring to the show today?
Call.
Oh, Larry,
Larry, we don't have a good
Larry,
connection with
hold
you,
on.
Larry.
We're
Sorry.
going to hold on, Larry. Hold on, Larry, till we could get a better connection from him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because that was just, I wanted to hear what Larry had to say.
But he was going through a bad cell area.
And even if you disagree with me, guys, and Lauren, you know, we still want to hear from you. You know, it's not just, you don't have to just have, this is not the amen chorus here. You don't have to say, oh, John, I love Greek stuff and conservative stuff. No.
Speaking about, can I get an amen?
Yeah, get an
We talked
amen.
about minimum wage yesterday. They voted, okay, it's going up. You know, we're going to go up to 13. You were saying, well, why not 50 if you're going to do that? Listen to what, though, he's got to defend it. The mayor said yesterday about this.
And a minimum wage, whether it's $10, $11, $13, it really comes down to making sure that your child doesn't go to school on an empty stomach. Making sure that you don't pick between medicine or school supplies.
What?
Well, I just lost it. I thought that I thought kids get their breakfast at school and they get government handouts for that.
Thank you.
What? I'm lost.
Lauren, can you please take this guy? I know. Okay, put him in the Dr. Denton pajamas. Have him sit in your lap. Give him some, warm cocoa, and explain economics 101, Lauren Cohn style, to the mayor of Chicago. Can you please do that?
Listen, Mayor, if you want people who are working in low-wage jobs to have a little bit more money in their pocket because you want to make the argument that it's going to improve the economy because they're going to have money to spend, and that can then be consistent with your argument, even though I don't buy that argument. But to come out with that one, I'm not that stupid.
How about tax credits?
Gruber said I was stupid. I'm not that stupid.
Tax credits, Lauren Cohn, tax credits, or, but not this other thing. Come on.
And then I want to know, Mayor Emanuel, what are you going to do because you're the Mr. I like small business. I want to help small business. What are you going to do when they start closing down shop? They start laying people off or raising their prices. What are you going to do then? Where's your soundbite for that?
You know, it's interesting. Tom Tunney, Alderman Tom, I'll be up your butt on Wrigley. Tunney.
Excuse me?
Yes,
Those
that's
aren't our
what he
values.
said. No, he was like, Wrigley, you better, not Wrigley, my brother's dog, Wrigley Field. He was all upset over, they better not screw up with the reconstruction of Wrigley. He stood up and was opposed to the minimum wage increase. He's a restaurant owner. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking of all those restaurants, Chuy Garcia's running for mayor.
Right.
All those restaurant owners on 18th Street and 26th Street. How are they going to make it? Mom and pop restaurants and shops. Those are the ones who get
They all
hurt.
called in yesterday. Our listeners were calling in saying, we're done, we're closing down. But then he goes on to say they're going to make a decision on the fact that we're doing the things necessary to grow the economy and create jobs. How is this creating jobs? Why not focus your conversation on really creating jobs that people can raise a family on as opposed to giving a couple more dollars to people? That's not long-term job creation.
All right, burn coal, slaughter hogs, make steel, give jobs, and cut taxes so people can work, so guys can work. How's that?
I'm going to be up your butt every day.